This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Is Ken Sartain on the line? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start. Hopefully he will join us.
David?
Yes.
David, could we have everybody mute their phones?
Yeah, if you are not a board member, mute your phone. We will know that you want to talk by you unmuting your phone, please. So caller 3 is a board member, so please leave yours on. Callers 1, you may not know your numbers, but we can see them here. If you are on a phone call, you are not a board member, please mute your phone at this point in time, and you will let us know that you want to talk by unmuting that phone. Okay, William, I believe you can, as the person running this meeting, that you can mute people. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I'm going to ask each person that's phoning in, please let us know if you are a board member at least, or if you're willing, give us a name or something so we know.
David?
Yes.
You're going to want the board members to mute also unless they're speaking, because if your phones or your computers are open, you're going to have feedback.
Very possibly. So far, I'm not getting any. Is anybody else? Nope. Okay. All right. Let's see. Gary Bringleson, can you mute your phone, please? And then I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are caller 3. Okay.
1 second here.
No, that's fine. You did do something to it, and I saw that show up as caller number 3, so you're good. Okay, I have 6 or 5 other phone people calling in on phones. Is Ken Sartain on the line yet?
I'll text him again, David.
Okay, thank you. All right, I don't seem to be getting any place with getting these other folks to silence their phones. William, I don't know, I guess I'm going to ask you to silence the phones other than caller number 3.
David, I've been trying to use the *6 to mute my phone. I'm caller number 2, but I'm just using the mute button on my phone. Okay,
that's fine. We'll leave you as long as it's off. Okay, so callers 2 and 3 would be okay. Callers 1, 4, 5, and 6. I guess we need to mute. If William's able to do that.
Hey, you want me to mute 1, 4, 5, and 6?
I believe so. Yes, we have people have identified themselves as 2 and 3. One of those being a board member. The other person says they are muting.
Okay. All right. We'll do. Okay. Give me a second.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and officially call the meeting together of the Seminole Lakes Park Utility Company Board of Directors. This is a special meeting that's been called. Pretty much a one-item agenda, but we'll have our public comment time where people can go ahead and make comments if they want to. So I would ask that our secretary, who is present, do a roll call. For those of you who are board members, we're going to have to stay present and say who we are to be able to have her get a count. So I will say for David Mahan, present.
All right, David's present. Gary Ferguson?
Present.
Sandy?
Present.
Doug?
I'm present.
I'm present. Is Mark present?
No, I know that Mark will not be. So the unknown
and did Ken make it on?
Ken said he's still trying for some reason. Not letting him in.
Okay, I've got him down as absent for now. If he gets in, I'll mark him as present later. So we have a quorum.
One of the things, if he's not able to get on at all, Doug could relay information to him. Potentially, I think that would be a legal vote, but at least we can keep him apprised if he can't. Doug can if we can't get on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead.
I think The only way to make it legal, if Ken does that way, would be for Doug to put him on speakerphone. We have to be able to hear him and he has to be
Yes,
able
you
to
would
hear
have,
us.
yes, he would have to put him on speaker on his phone and we'd have to be able to hear him. Okay, so we'll deal with that when we get to a vote. So we do have a quorum. There's been lots and lots of discussion about not just this meeting, but things going on in YSPUC, in YLP.
David.
Yes,
David, Ken
Yes.
just joined.
okay,
I'm
so,
on.
okay, so Michelle, Ken is present.
I have him marked as present.
Okay, I'm going to, under President's comments, make some comments as the President of YSPUC concerning not just this action today that we hope in favorably to get vehicles, but what's been going on around this election. There has been so much negative comments going on. So as President of the YSPUC, I wish to read under President's comments. My comments, I will provide those to the Secretary after the meeting in some fashion, forward them to her. So I says, I wish to address the negative email that has been circulated about YLOA and YSPUC. The tone of this recent email has become more and more negative as we have gotten closer to our annual meeting and election of board members. There have been veiled accusations that the two current board members who are running for re-election are not good people and should not be voted for. That we need to clean house to prevent increases in our budgets and wasteful spending. They have even made it seem like a very valuable part-time employee of YSPUC is also not to be trusted. As president of the YSPUC board, chairman of the Engineering and Plans Committee, and a current member of the YLOA board, I have intimate knowledge of the workings of both YSPUC and YLOA. I wish to state that I have complete faith in the actions of Becky Brannon and Ken Sartain as board members, and Steve Brannon as a licensed water engineer for YSPUC. These three individuals have worked tirelessly on behalf of every resident of YLP, keeping expenses as low as possible, but meeting their responsibility to keep YLOA and YSPUC solvent. These unfounded and baseless accusations are by a very small group of residents posted on websites that they run, and therefore they do not allow posting of positive comments about YLP, have done a great deal of damage to YLP, both in causing strife and financial costs to the membership. Two of these individuals have even communicated with the association's attorney, which resulted in many hours of fees being charged to YLOA. Their unfounded accusations had been previously addressed by the YLOA board, so no action was recommended by the association lawyers. Because of the personal attacks on Steve Brannon, he no longer works for the YSPUC. He has provided an extremely valuable service functioning as the licensed water engineer for all our water projects, including the PRP project. We have paid him a very small salary for several years. This was done so YSPUC could provide insurance coverage for him while he is on the job. Steve has saved us at least $100,000 each year in his outside engineering fees. With his resignation, YSPUC will be forced to hire an outside engineering firm to provide the required engineering plans and reports before doing any new work on our PRP project. This will result in major delays in the progress of this much needed work. It will also increase the cost by a major factor for each mile of pipeline, as we must have approval of the plans done by a licensed water engineer. This small group of individuals have caused a great deal of strife within YLP. They have cost the membership many thousands of dollars. They have led to YSPUC losing one of its best and most valuable employees while putting the PRP project in jeopardy and causing other employees and board members to repeatedly explain the operations of YLOA and YSPUC. None of their actions have improved YLP for any resident. They have caused a great deal of paid time to be wasted over concerns that should have been more thoroughly researched by these individuals before posting information that was not factual. I ask that we all make YLP a better place by working together and not trying to divide the ones who have chosen to work so hard for YLP by volunteering as a board member or working for YLP at a salary far below what they could have elsewhere. I'll stop there. Personally, I would have more to say, but we have got to work together. Okay, I apologize if that offends anybody, but there has been so much said that's negative. It's time we say some truth. Okay, so there are no minutes to approve, I believe, Michelle, or do we have the last set?
I did not get them from Sam yet, so we do not have the last set. You'll have to do those.
Yeah, I have seen a draft copy, but they are not completed enough to present at this time, so we're not doing that, okay? Next up is public comment. So if there are those who wish to comment that are not board members or that are not board members.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, please.
Can you please let us know who wrote that letter?
The letters to the association of lawyers. I will not divulge that at this time. I believe that has been researched and potentially we can give that information out, but I don't know that directly.
But you're providing us with a letter with information that is bringing accusations, but you're not providing us with a source, and I don't feel that that's fair.
Okay, Ken Sartain, you are the vice president of YLOA.
David?
Yes.
David, can I interrupt just briefly? Make sure that we understand what letter the individual is speaking about. Is it the letter David just read that you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm the author of the letter of the information I just gave, but what I was discussing is that there were two association members who communicated with our lawyers, and the result of that is we have been forced to pay some very large attorney's fees for the time spent.
Couldn't that have been handled at a lower level?
That's what we thought, and that's what our attorney thought.
So did the person try to approach anybody on the board with these questions and they didn't get the answers?
That's what was stated by those individuals, that they had asked those questions. Now, I am a member of the YLOA board. I'm not one of the officers. So I can't answer some of this directly myself at this point in time, because I was not privy to the conversations with the lawyers, since I was not one of the officers of YLOA.
But you're aware of what the questions that were asked of the lawyers?
Yes. And some of those, or most, I won't say all of them, but most of them were addressed by either board members or employees of YLOA, but the individuals felt that I guess from what their statements were, they felt the answers were not sufficient.
Okay, thank you.
But when that information was presented to the lawyer came back and said the information that the association through its members and board members, through its employees and board members had provided was sufficient.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if at this point in time, we are still trying to do other public comment. So William, would you unblock any of the phones that you did block, please? So if there are those who want to talk, they can.
Okay, we'll do.
David, I'd like to make a comment.
Please.
Okay, my public comment. My records indicate that the YSPUC had several large purchases. They purchased a building for $275,000 plus an additional $30,000 for move-in and improvements. My understanding, the reserve funds were utilized to pay for this. YSP also bought a SCADA system for $175,000. To my understanding, our reserve funds are incredibly low. Now this board is rushing to approve the purchase of these two trucks for $180,000, 2 business days before the new board is established. The approved January YSPUC budget did not include $180,000 for the purchase of 2 trucks. The other issue, repairing the old truck and then transfer it to the PRP OSS project. My records indicate on November 20th, 2018, the OSS detailed report forecast the purchase of a 1-ton crew cab work truck for the amount of $55,000 to be funded by the unused OSS funds. It was anticipated that this would happen February of 2019. The February 2019-2020 June report stated purchased a new work truck. This aggressive spending needs to slow down. We have the slightest clue how the coronavirus pandemic will affect this community. All After all it was stated, we are in this all together. It will benefit this community to apply the PPP funds towards $110,000 for well 49A and purchase of a large trailer mounted generator. It would be appropriate to have the new board make the decision spending the $180,000 for 2 new trucks. I'm done.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have other comments during the public comment session?
Yes, hello.
David,
I do. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
David, Steve, can you have these callers pronounce their name when they call in so we're not looking at just caller 1, 2, or 3, please?
Okay, the last person was Betty Olivas. Beata Olivas. I'm sorry, mispronounced her first name.
Hello, my name is Kathleen Kennedy. I'd like to make a public comment.
Please, go ahead.
Are you okay? Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for the professional facilitation of this meeting, Mr. Mahan. I can tell that you are a professional and I appreciate the way you're handling this meeting. I do believe that spending any amount of money, especially in the over $100,000 at this time, is fiscally irresponsible. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We've got a lot of residents that are very upset at the increased dues, and I disagree with any expenditures at this time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I would like to speak. This is Cheryl Bloom, BLUHM. And I would like to say that I do agree. Thank you very much. I wanted to say that I do agree with both the previous speakers as well on this, is that it does seem a bit rushed and also a large amount of money that would be handled at one time regarding 3 vehicles. And if it is a case of a new vehicle needed, then maybe the purchase of 1 should be reviewed instead of all 3. And that is what I wanted to just comment. I do think this is a bit rushed and something that should be viewed and reviewed in more detail with the new board. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Yes, David, can you hear me?
Yes, please identify who you are, please, and state your comments.
David, this is Kathy Miller. I also agree with the previous 2 callers. I don't understand the rush as far as this meeting, on 10 o'clock on a Friday before the election, just a couple of days before the election. I don't understand the big rush to hurry up and spend this money. Seems to be the goal is to do it as fast as possible before a new board is seated. Can you answer that?
I will not at this time, but when I make my motion, I believe my rationale will explain most of this, and I probably will make a little bit more of a statement of the rationale after hearing comments from individuals.
Okay. I also, at the beginning of your comment, can you still hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
At the beginning of your comment, you referred to an email that had been circulated about these this letters to the lawyer. I'm unfamiliar with that email. Do you know who it was circulated to?
The emails I were referring to were general emails, not necessarily something about the letters to the lawyer. That's another item. There were emails and a letter to the lawyer. I will explain that one. Sorry.
Okay.
But dealing with the other things, I will hopefully address when I do my rationale for the motion.
Okay. Thank you.
Other comments?
Hi there. Yep. Thank you, David. This is Sue Beck. I do have a few comments in agreement with the other community speakers. And thank you. I agree that this is a very professional and organized meeting. So thank you for that. So one comment regarding your opening statement, David, and I think that Tracy asked about couldn't that have the issue been brought to the a lower level, and I think that there needs to be more access to the board and the general manager. I know during this pandemic, it's been really difficult for people to meet, but had that happened, and maybe it did, I don't know, I'm just assuming, that the letter to the attorneys wouldn't have occurred. That's just my general comment. As far as the purchase of the vehicles, again, I don't understand the urgency for the purchase of these vehicles. The budget for YSPUC was just approved December 29th, and why wasn't it in the budget? I'm very concerned if we use PPP funds to purchase those vehicles. We don't know what portion of those funds will not be forgiven, and then will be further burdened with a loan payment. Those are my comments for now. Again, I would like to see that this decision be tabled until the new board is seated. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other residents who wish to make comments? Okay, going once.
David, I'm still here. Kathy Miller?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. We
Yes,
can give
yes, can you tell the homeowners whether or not this is PPP money that's being used to buy these new trucks?
I will address that as I do the actual rationale and motion.
Okay, just because it's my understanding as far as the law goes, PPP money has to go toward payroll. 75% of it does, or else there will be an audit.
Again, I will address that during the rationale and motion.
Okay.
Okay, last call for any comments from the membership.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you identify who?
Yeah, this is Diana Binney.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to address what's been said about the rush to this. I happen to attend almost every meeting that you have, and I've heard this discussed for quite some time. It's not being rushed. It was tabled. If it was being rushed, it would have been voted on at your last meeting when it was discussed. It was tabled so you could find more information before doing it. I appreciate how much time and effort you put into studying and finding out how to get things done with less expense. I don't understand people who are upset because the pipes aren't done, but then they get upset if we try to do the pipes because that takes materials. And it's the same as me at home here. Yes, I'm remodeling my home and my yard. I would like it done yesterday, and I would like it done free. It doesn't work that way. So personally, I want to thank you. And Steve Brannon, I thank you so much for your efforts. And we're going to miss having you on there. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, we're going to make that.
This is Cheryl again. This is Cheryl again. I would like to make a comment about that. It's not that it's necessarily rushed, and maybe this has been discussed and this has been reviewed. And if all the research has been done, then delaying it by 3 days with the new board seated with it to be re-reviewed, none of that research should go away. So it should all still be valid even a week from now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Okay, I'm going to call comments to an end. We have been very generous with the time and let people readdress. So we need to move on with the board meeting. So William, if you would, I'm going to ask you to try and go back to the same phones that you did mute before. And so this will now be a conversation between board members only. The others are very welcome to stay, and we hope that you do. But now it's time for the board to discuss and take action if we decide to.
Okay.
So we'll take a minute for that. Okay, I think William is working on muting those phones, so I'm going to go ahead and go on. Item number 8 on the agenda is the GM report. I believe we do not have an update at this time. Jonathan, to let you know, and a positive thing for him, is he is out of town for the first time almost since we have hired him. He's worked practically 24 hours a day, 365. So he will not be back for a day or two. So we do not have an update to the GM report. So I'll move on to item number 9, the old business. We have under there the vehicles, motion to purchase 2 trucks, which is 9.1, and 9.2, repair of this existing truck and giving it over to the PRP project. So let me read my rationale. I'm going to expand upon what I have presented to the board members just a little bit with the comments, but I will start off with those comments. So if you are a board member, you should have a copy of the rationale and a motion in front of you. So this is a purchase of 2 trucks for YSPUC made in July of 2020. Rationale, number 1, the board of directors has a responsibility to provide the equipment necessary for the YSPUC to meet the needs for water of the homeowners within YLP. Number 2, the board of directors is aware that our aging fleet of large work trucks needs to be replaced as it is affecting the timely completion of work by our employees. Replacement vehicles will make for an increase in efficiency and safety and falls under smart spending. Number 3, the board of directors has discussed this need and voted to authorize the purchase of the 2 heavy-duty trucks in past years. These vehicles were not purchased because of budget restraints or constraints at that time. Number 4, the Engineering and Plans Committee has recommended that YSPUC purchase the 2 trucks as soon as possible, as they are negatively affecting the timely completion of work by our water crew. They can also speed up our PRP and roadway repaving projects by allowing for the transfer of an existing YSPUC truck to the PRP project. Number 5, because the YLOA and YSPUC have received PPP funding for employee salaries, we have a unique one-time opportunity to finally provide for the replacement of these needed vehicles without a budget increase. Now, that's the 5 things I had down. I will add a little bit more comment to that, and I will put that on my proposal, I guess, in an official manner somehow, since we've had more comments. These trucks have been in the past 2 budgets. They were not purchased because, again, our financing at the end of the year and different times is, cash flow is up, cash flow is down. They have been authorized by YSPUC and YLOA in the past. They were not specifically called out in this budget as a replacement item. We will not be using PPP funding to purchase these vehicles. But by having PPP funding, we feel we have a, if you want to call it that, a cushion that will allow us to do it at this time. One of the reasons to justify doing this right now, today, is we should have done it 2 years ago. Our water crew is now taking a single truck that is still operational and having to go at least 3 times to a job site to get all the equipment out there. That's a total waste of time. They are also using a bucket on the front of a loader to lift up things that one of the trucks has a 4,000-pound crane on it. And it will be done much more safely and much more efficiently with this vehicle. The rush to purchase them today is because we have the best price we've ever had because probably of COVID-19. We have these vehicles reserved through today only at this price. If we do not get them, it will be months probably before we can, because for one thing, the new board will be seated, we hope and pray, tomorrow, but they do not meet in July, so it will be August before we can authorize the purchase. These vehicles will be gone. We will have to start the process over with new vehicles. We are not trying to rush this through because we think the next board won't vote for it. The next board will not be meeting its fiduciary responsibility if they do not vote for these items. We must have them to support the employees. It will help keep our dues down in the long run. No one here wants to waste your money, least of all. Okay, sorry I expanded so much, but that's my rationale. Okay, I'll make my motion and then we can discuss it. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors approve the following motion. That YSPUC purchase 2 heavy-duty work trucks, total price not to exceed $180,000 without a YSP board approval. Details of those vehicles. One is a Dodge Ram 550, 2.5-ton diesel truck, regular cab, 4-wheel drive, service body, extended work deck, 4,000-pound crane, pipe rack, air compressor, bumper rack for compactor, 19,500 GVW, which is gross vehicle weight. Vehicle number 2, Dodge Ram 3500, 1-ton, if you did not get my update to that. Gas, regular cab, flatbed body with underbed compartments, 3/16-inch aluminum deck bed, and 12-inch side rails. Third vehicle, existing YSPU truck to be repaired and then transferred to the PRP project. That is my motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, David.
Thank you. We now are open to discussion amongst the board members only, please.
David, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, please.
I just would like to remind the board and possibly remind the board that we have a fiduciary duty to ensure that our association is maintained and also improved. And if we aren't doing that, if we aren't providing the proper equipment for that to be done safely, we're putting our staff at risk if we're letting them use vehicles that aren't safe. And without these new vehicles, I don't see how we're going to continue to projects to do the work that needs to be done.
Diane, can you take this? I'm sorry, I have a distraction. My phone just rang. Thank you for your comments, Sandy. Do I have other board members who wish to make comments?
Yeah, this is Ken Sartain.
Yes, Ken.
This rush to buy this is not true at all. We've been discussing this for literally years, and just the past few months, we've done a lot of research into getting the proper vehicle that we need. The present state of the vehicles is, if anybody is wondering why if this is a frivolous expense, just go over and take a look at the pile of junk that no longer functions after being jury rigged and repaired repeatedly. We need these vehicles for a long term. We're going to have these things until we run them into the ground. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of money now, but spread over the period of 10 years or so. And we did table the motion. I was one of the ones that wanted to table the motion so that we could get an idea of maybe we have the best price and that we don't have to come back and ask for more. And I did quite an extensive bit of research on finding these trucks. For one thing, they're very rare. They're very hard to find because they're unique, and they go quickly when they are available. And even used ones aren't available. If you buy one with 100,000 miles on it for $90,000, you can do that, but it didn't seem very prudent to do such a thing. So yeah, we really do need these.
Hey, this is Michelle. I have a question for you. At our June 30th meeting, the general manager stated we had $75,000 to $100,000 in grant money available for this project. We're looking at $180,000. Where's the other $100,000 coming from?
Okay, I believe that was a discussion about PPP funding. We are not using PPP funding for this. We feel that by having the PPP funding, that since it can be used for salaries, money that's within the YSPUC budget can now, this year, probably this year only, be used for such a expenditure as these trucks. That's
But
where
my understanding was, Dave, my understanding was, I understand that the PPP funding goes to salaries. But my understanding, that was the $75,000 to $100,000 that went to salaries. So that freed up that $75,000 to $100,000 of YSPUC money for this purchase. We're
Yes.
looking at $180,000. Where is the other $100,000 coming from?
The other 100,000 is from funds that YSPUC has. They legally or it's not called a reserve fund such as Wild OA's. They do not operate under Davis Sterling. They have funds that are available from my understanding, most of it came from a legal lawsuit that was settled in our favor when there was fuel that leaked from the gas station. So we got a settlement from that. That money has been held and used very, very judiciously by YSPUC. That is where this money is coming from. It's not coming from the once a year dues the dues that people pay. It is coming from that because again, we do not we're not allowed to have a profit, shall we say. Another thing that will probably be a good thing for the water company this year, it's not going to be real good for you and me individually as people that live here, is the PUC is going to be doing at some point in time, if they can get the paperwork done because of COVID, we will be receiving a rate increase in what we have to pay for water. That funding does fund the operations of the water company. So there will be a little bit more money coming into the water company because of that increase. So there's another source of funds for this. But we have the money right now. We are not lacking the money. We're not going to short the YSPUC. This has been at the recommendation of Mark Zoller as the treasurer of both organizations, by Ken Harrington, who represents, is our chief of the water operations itself of that, of YSPUC, our general manager. Everyone is saying this is the time to do it. And the reason we hope we're doing it today is because we don't want to lose, as Ken Sartain said, these unique trucks and have to start this search over again. I believe I stated we are having one truck go out at least 2 to 3 times to a water company operation to be able to haul everything because they're pretty much down to one big truck that can carry the stuff. And when they get there, when they get there, they have to have this backhoe arrangement to lift the large pumps and motors and other things that they have to use rather than having a crane on the truck because that truck is no longer functioning.
I guess I'm a little confused. If there was money available, then why wasn't this done when it was approved if there was money from this lawsuit? So it concerns me. I'm concerned that we're using money. I know it's not in theory PPP funds, but we're using money offset by PPP funds. But what happens, because we don't know that money's going to be a grant or not until probably January or February next year when all the paperwork's done. If it comes back and we have to pay it back, it is a concern to me. The other concern is, why do we have to buy, again, I know you say we need all these vehicles. If the existing YSPUC truck can be fixed and used for PRP projects, why couldn't it be fixed and used for YSPUC and only purchase one additional truck? And see how things go, and if we get the funding turned into a grant in January or something, then look for a second vehicle.
All of those items have been discussed in the engineering committee. They've been discussed with the water company, with Ken Harrington, with Jonathan as our general manager, with other board members, and with experts in the field. Again, the reasons we are saying this is what we need now, and what the recommendation was from the engineering company, and for me as the president of the YSPUC, we must meet our fiduciary responsibility to safeguard and provide for our employees. This will not bankrupt the YSPUC. Okay, it is a very large expenditure of money. I absolutely realize that. And even if we didn't have PPP funds, it's time to do this. The only thing about PPP is it may help us out, in not costing more, or affecting us more. It will not affect the budget for next year for YSPUC.
David, can I
Please, sir.
make a statement too? One thing that hasn't been spoken about a lot too is the tax advantages that are available for 2020 only. This is section 179. If you want to look at that, interested in that, it's section 179.org. And I'll quote from here, section 179 deduction for 2020 is $1,040,000. This means U.S. companies can deduct the full price of qualified equipment purchases up to $1,040,000 with a total equipment purchase of $2.59 million. The deduction includes both new and used qualified equipment. So that's only applicable to 2020. So it's important that we get this purchase sooner than later to take advantage of these tax deductions.
David, can I make a comment?
Please.
I'm certainly not an expert on trucks, but if I understand some of the conversation that has taken place in the past in regards to this equipment, part of the reason we need these trucks is we don't currently even have a truck that has the ability to do what these two trucks are going to be able to do. And now that we've taken on a lot more of the body equipment and things to help this process go smoother, more efficiently, more professionally, we need these trucks also in order to make that happen. Whereas the old truck that we're talking about that needs fixing, that can be moved over to maintenance to use, that truck doesn't have the ability to do what these new trucks can do. Do I have that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in reference back to what Ken said, he just shared with me the email about this tax write-off late last night. Ken, I apologize. I did not have time to research. Thank you for bringing it up. But again, that's a reason that, another factor for doing it as soon as we can. Now, there are some who say, again, we should wait for the new board. This is a dead horse as far as I'm concerned. I'm the longest serving member of this association as a board member. It's been brought up as an old issue when I started going to meetings on the engineering committee before I ever got on the board. It is a critical need of our employees. Like Sandy said, it will provide for us going ahead. This truck that's going to go to PRP is now also doing roads. Maintenance is not doing roads pretty much. They're just doing little patches and stuff. So the PRP people will be the roads crew too, if we can afford it and do it soon. But they have to have vehicles to pull the equipment we have purchased and are going to purchase to help us save even more money. But the idea here is it takes money to make money. Well, in our case, it takes money to save money. These are an extremely needed and worthwhile purchase. Frankly, if we do not do this at this time, we're not meeting our fiduciary responsibility. Waiting 3 more days is not waiting 3 more days, it's waiting another month and a half. And can we find vehicles by that time? These are brand new 2019s, basically 0 miles. If we let these vehicles go, we probably will have to be looking at 2020 vehicles, and they're going to cost us substantially more. We need to do this now. Nothing done in any manner to try and do this underhandedly. I have worked on this ever since I've been here, which is 3+ almost 4 years. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment, David.
Please go ahead.
It amazes me how many comments are on Facebook and everything else about brown water taking longer for repairs. They expect this water company to do a job, but they don't want to give them any equipment. It's ridiculous. They need to get the equipment to get the job done and get it done as fast as they can and get it done right the first time. I've been in this park for 20 years. And yes, you can see the pile of junk that is sitting out at the maintenance yard of trying to repair and repair and repair and repair vehicles. You know, you want to build your house with a toy hammer and duct tape. Go ahead. You know, it just doesn't work without the proper tools.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
done.
You know, another thing too is both of our service trucks are dead in the water, irreparable. We have 0 trucks, and have these guys up heavy equipment. We jury rig chain hoists on the tractor is ridiculous.
Okay, any further comment? We are into the section where it is board members only, so if there are residents who are watching, you had your time during the comment period, so I'm not going to open it back up to comment at this point in time. Any further information from any board member? Okay, I'm going to call for a question then. So we've made the motion, it's been seconded. I would ask that the board members.
David, I'm sorry to interrupt. Michelle, your phone is not muted and there's some feedback, so I can't hear David. Thank you.
Okay, so again, the motion has been made, it's been seconded, we've had a lot of discussion, we've had input from the membership. You know, I'm not asking for this lightly for the membership or the board members. And for, do I have concerns? Yes. I have concerns for our employees. I have concerns for what Doug has said. How, excuse my French, how the hell do we complete this project?
Another thing I'd like to mention too is every one of us on the board are members of the community too. We pay our dues just like everyone else.
Yeah, costs me money every time.
Yeah, we're concerned about where our dues go to. However, we have a better understanding than the general public does about what exactly has to be done to move this place forward.
I think Dave called for the vote. Let's just get the vote and be over with it.
Okay, thank you, everybody. All right, so I am calling for a vote. Michelle, I will say yes, aye for David Mahan. Other board members, please respond, or Michelle ask them to, one way or the other.
It's Andy.
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Ken. Ken? Ken, yes or no?
Ken Sartain, you're being asked to vote, please. Did we lose you?
Sorry, bad connection. I vote yes.
Gary?
Gary Bringleson may be muted as caller, what, number 3? So
yes, I think it was 3.
Okay, so William, can you unmute caller number 3? I believe that is Gary Bringleson. Gary, are you there? Try and respond now, please, with your vote.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, and I'm going to vote no. So the majority is yes, so it's passed.
Okay. I guess, William, can you unmute the rest of those phones and see if we can get a response from Gary Bringleson?
Okay, I will.
David, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Yes, we got you. You are caller number 3. Can you give your vote, sir?
I vote yes. This is a safety-related item.
Thank you, sir. So we do have 6 votes. We have 5 yeses and 1 no. Mark Zoller is not available. I do have an email from him. It says he concurs, but that cannot be counted as an official vote. So we have 5 yeas and 1 no. Motion carries. Okay, item number 10 is new business. Unless any other board member has something to bring up at this time, I don't have anything. We could only discuss it anyway because nothing is on the agenda. None? All right, we're down to director's comments. I've talked way too much, so I won't say more than thank you, everybody, for board members and residents for being here. I know we just spent a lot of your money. Believe me, it weighs upon me, but it's necessary. It's what we have to do to keep this place going.
A lot of our money, David.
Yep. Yeah, our money too. Yes. You know, it's everybody. We pay it. We live in Beartooth here too. To let you know what will happen is we will be contacting the dealership today. That's why we needed to do this. So they will hold these trucks for us. Our general manager is supposed to be back next week, and we will turn that hold into purchase and trying to get them here just as soon as we possibly can. They are very, very much needed. So other directors' comments, please.
David, I want one comment. Can we prioritize the utility truck with the jib crane on it to be the first one in line? If there is a first, second?
I would think that's very possible. That I know of, both vehicles are sitting there. The three things we discussed within engineering committee that will have to be added to the vehicle may take a little bit of time. So it may be that we can get the other truck first, you know, because it doesn't have to have additional things done. But
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, we
prioritize.
We got to get these things going. I know. I agree with you. Yeah, we'll talk with Jonathan next week and you know, get a hold of this dealer and do just we'll get him here yesterday if we can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board directors' comments? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to adjourn this meeting and thank everyone for being here. And in signing off, thank those that I mentioned in my comments for all the hard work they have done for years.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. William, go ahead and end the session, please.